Hello and welcome back to Planting the Geeks. You join us for another video into a War Transformed. Today we're going to be looking at the Germans that I'm going to be building, the German Empire. So let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to be mainly using Great War Germans from Atlantic Wargames, or Wargames Atlantic. I haven't opened this yet, but I'll be using some other models as well. To represent the witch, I'll be using the Frostgrave Wizards sprue that I got with the rulebook for North Star Games. And I also have some 3D printed stuff and some various other sprues from mainly some from Stargrave, some from Frostgrave, some from other Atlantic Wargames, Wargames Atlantic, and some bolt action ones as well. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mix and match because we don't have to be very exact with like uniforms and exact colours and everything. There's going to be a bit weird. We're going to make it a bit weird, and we're going to go for the full baddie sort of thing. I've decided rather than going for the tactician, we're going to go for the other guy. I feel more drawn towards this Armanist character. However, because we're going to be starting small, we're going to be doing a 10-point section army. I'm actually going to be starting by using a standard captain for this. The standard captain may eventually just become a lieutenant in the army, and I might introduce a more villainous looking leader. But for now, we are going to make a normal captain. I'm going to make a witch who's going to be supporting the army. I'll be making probably my Armanist guy in maybe the next video. I've got to look around for a nice model for that, to be honest. But I will be using the Frostgrave thing to make a witch, which will suit the army, because even if I take an Armanist, I still get free witch anyway. So you can be like the apprentice of this guy, basically. So we're going to do that. So, what's in the army? Well, there are 2 sections of troopers, which I'm going to be getting from this box, and that's where we're going to start. So that's 2 line sections, both come in at 2 section points. So that'll be the first 4 points of the army. Each one of them has 8 models in. They'll all have rifles and standard issue close combat weapons. However, one squad will have an NC upgrade, and the other squads for 1 upgrade point. And the other squad will have an NC upgrade and a light machine gun crew upgrade for 1 point for the NCO and 1 upgrade point, and then 3 upgrade points for the light machine gun crew. And so that'll be the 50% points spent on upgrades for this army. So all the upgrades are going into the 2 line units basically. So that's where we're going to start. Start at the core and work our way out. Although we should really start with the captain. And we can start with the captain, to be fair, because he is a single model. So this is the current captain, future lieutenant. I'll show you this one first, actually. There we go. So I 3D printed this. This is a Scouts Out model. They make a few World War I type models. They're very good for this kind of game, I think. I'm really happy with this model. This one really stood out to me as being an awesome model. And I wanted to use him as my captain. And for the first few games, he will be the captain. He may become the lieutenant in the future, infantry lieutenant. But there we go. I love the shield that he's got. I've got way different ideas now. I'm going to paint that. I'm not decided yet. And he'll be going on a 25mm base. There we go. These are from War Bases. You can order different size bases from War Bases UK. I'm not on commission from any of these companies, by the way. I just wanted to tell you where I got them from, in case you didn't know where to get any from. War Bases, you can order different sizes of bases. They do most of the sizes that are stipulated in the War Transform book, apart from the largest 2 sizes. And again, I'm going to be using some oval bases anyway for my cavalry and stuff like that, because I just think cavalry look better on oval bases. And when I get to like tank and stuff, I probably won't even base them, to be honest, because they're massive. And I'll be measuring from the centre, not from the base, when I'm playing. So that'll be one difference that I do put in. But there we go. So that is the captain. That's a 25mm base. I'll get him stuck on that, and he can come back in. But I just thought I'd have a quick distraction doing that, because he's in charge, and we'll do that. So I would do the witch next, but I need to open this box to actually do it. So let's have a look at these. I've only had a couple of Wargames Atlantic model sets before. I've had the Bulldogs and I've had the Lizard Men. I didn't unbox them on the channel because they're for random projects. You may see them in the future when I do the New Albion set of videos that I'm doing. But stay tuned for that if you're interested. But for now, let's have a look at these guys. So there's plenty of choices on this. We have the gas mask helmets, which I'm going to be using. We also have some of the pickle helmets, I don't know how you say it, but the ones with the spikes on top. We also have some non-gas masked standard helmets, and then we have some caps there, good for NCOs, etc. Although my NCO will still have a gas mask on. That is going to be the theme because I think it's creepy and it works with my theme that I'm going for these guys. We have little shovels, trenching tools. We have some optional little things that go over the shoulder. We have some guns there. It looks like we do have a small armed SMG type gun there, which is good. And then we have a Luger by the looks of it, some grenades, pointy hand, more grenades, some binoculars. So I think the NCO will be getting binoculars. I don't know how he's going to use them with the gas mask on, but I might put them on anyway just for fun. But there we go. So there seems to be some good choices. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 models on the sprue. And yeah, so let's get these bodies and everything cut off. And some options. There's the machine gun there. Right. Okay, so we've got some parts off here. We have 8 models per section. This one's having an NC upgrade. So when you put an upgrade into a unit, you remove an existing model, or models, depending on what it says on the upgrade. So in this case, 1 model is removed and then an NCO is added, so the unit always remains 8 models, even with upgrades. This one's having a NCO, and it's also having a heavy machine gun team, which is 2 guys, I believe. I'll double check that. But 2 guys. So 2 will have to be modelled to the machine gun. Both lose their rifles, but they'll gain the machine gun. Just have a quick look at the actual models themselves. They are pretty good, pretty well detailed. The sprues, most of the sprues are marked. There are no instructions for putting these together, but on the sprue there are some marks, like C1 there matches C2. So C1 will be a rifle that has an arm attached as well, so you'll need to attach C1 and C2 together to the body that you're attaching it to. Other than that, there's not much else to note. This seems like a pretty decent sprue. I'll let you know once I've started sticking them together if there's any issues. With previous sprues from Wargames Atlantic, or yeah, it is Wargames Atlantic, not Atlantic Wargames, Wargames Atlantic. They are good sprues and I think they're well worth it, but there are some fitting issues, especially on the Bulldogs, I've noticed, with some of the weapons not quite fitting onto some of the bodies or where they should go, even following these. So if there are any issues I notice, I shall let you know. Other than that, we'll start sticking some of these together. And I've also gathered some gribblies from other Frostgrave type sprues, and we've got some little mace that I found there. I'm just going to sort of harvest the bits that I never use on other models, just to stick on to give a bit of extra character. We've got all of our gas masks on there. And while we're at it, at this stage, you might have noticed there's some models appeared here. These are 3D printed models. We'll get onto them in a minute, but luckily with one of the models that I got, I did get a gas mask thing, so I've got plenty of spare gas masks. So let's crack on with the 2 line sections. We'll get them put together and then I'll be back. Okay, so these are our 2 sections. Just to show you the models. That's one of the NCOs. I think they're pretty good. I think they turned out pretty well. There were some issues with some of the fittings, a bit fiddly. The worst one was the heavy machine gun. There are 2 gaps in his back. He's not quite dry yet, but when he is, I will have to fill them with some green stuff, or they will look terrible. Other than that, a few little bits of flash I'm still going to take off. They are pretty much done. I've added a few bits on, like on the, I suppose he'd be the machine gun loader. I've given him a backpack from the Scavengers frame and a mace. That's the Stargrave Scavengers. I just thought they looked pretty cool. And I threw a few packs on the floor from this frame. Just looked like he was getting some ammo out for this guy. As he loses his rifle in the rules, I didn't put a rifle on him purposely. As a kind of memory for myself, it probably wouldn't matter too much as long as you remember not to roll an extra dice when you're shooting. So these guys are a team. This guy's the NCO for that one, and this guy's the NCO for that team. Again, I gave them both the goggles like I said I would. Try and make them stand out. I'll probably paint them slightly different as well, because it won't really be following standard uniform colours. I might paint them similar and then maybe put something different on the helmets, make them stand out. It's really what you want when the snipers around, but yeah, more for just making it easier to know who's who. So that's the 2 sections, and they come to a total of 4 points, 2 points each. That's 2 SPs. There's actually 4 UPs in there as well. But now we're going to add some elites to this 10-point squad. These elites are going to be a stormtrooper unit, which is one of the Germany's own special units. For that, I printed off some of Wargames Atlantic trench troopers. Now these guys, they've got armour plates on, and so do the stormtroopers. That's why I was going to just make these trench troopers, but then I was like, oh no, the stormtroopers have got these plates on, so I can turn them into stormtroopers. Now the unit has 4 stormtroopers in there, and they all have machine pistols. That is a machine pistol, this kind of machine pistol, on the sprue for these guys. So I've salvaged a couple of them. I'm going to use the Luger. I think it's a Luger. It's just one of those. It kind of looks like a Luger. I think it's a Luger. I think the Mauser came after World War One. I'm not sure. I'm not a gun expert. But they are technically machine pistols as well, so they'll probably get some pistols on there too. There were some printed off in the prints though. So let me stick these guys on some bases. They're going to get the gas masks as well, and then I'm just going to give them some weapons. Some of them are going to be the plastic weapons, some of them will be resin weapons are printed off. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be back once they are done. Okay, so we have finished stormtroopers. These are the elites for this army. So these guys cost 3 points. So far I have spent 4 points on line, 3 points on elite, which leaves me an extra point for elite. So for that extra point of elite, we're going to make a little sniper squad. So I have a 60mm base here. In the book it says up to 75 for weapons teams. Again, that means you could use less. So these 60mm bases look pretty good, so I'm going to build on this. There's no lying down models in this set, unfortunately, to make like a sniper who's like taking up a position. The only one I'd probably really use is maybe like the crouched guy, but I want to have him lying down so it looks like he's having a low profile on there. It doesn't have any game effect, it's just I kind of like snipers to look like they're in a good position. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a bolt action model. And I've been having a look at my Africa Corps and Blitzkrieg models. They're not that different when you look at them as far as uniform goes, as far at this scale and from the back, because this guy's going to be lying down. So you're only going to see the back anyway. He has the same sort of like tunic style uniform, so it's not really going to look any different. So this one's from the Blitzkrieg set. I'm also probably going to have to use... I don't actually have the rifle slot, so yeah, I might have to use a rifle off the Africa Corps set. Probably this one. And then cut the strap off. And then have him so he's propped up. So I'm going to do that. And then a sniper is a 2-man team, so I'm going to use the crouch body from this set because he'll be sat up, stood up, kneeling up. And I might give him some binoculars so he can be the spotter. So what I'm going to do with this base, I'm going to use a little bit of milliput to build it up. So there's looks like they sort of found this little embankment to sort of like give them a bit of cover. When I come to paint it afterwards, what I'll do, I'll probably just put some like maybe some bushes and stuff around to make it look like the spotter's a bit more hidden than he is. And they found this little good spot for actually picking up a sniper position. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. Put some milliput on, put these guys together. Should be pretty straightforward after I've done that. And then we'll see where we end up. Okay, so we've modded ourselves a sniper from those parts. This is the last elite section. So yeah, these bits I've just put them in there temporarily. I might take them out, I might build something around, or I might just use sort of natural cover. Depends on what I feel like after I've painted them. But for now, that's where we are at. And so we have our elites as well from the stormtroopers. So the next section will be the cannonade section, and we have 2 points left. So I'm going to go for a heavy machine gun crew, which is a common choice. They go on sort of the same size base as because they're a weapons team. Again, I've printed off the German HMG crew from Wargames Atlantic. Again, they're all going to get the gas masks. There's 3 of them. And what I actually did was this is the gun, and it is larger than the plastic version, because I printed this slightly bigger. Because when I've been 3D printing, it is very brittle. When I printed them at the normal size, they literally just snap. Now I'm using water washable resin, so it is known for being slightly more brittle. So I actually upped that from 100 to 125 scale. So hopefully doesn't look too big. It might look better as an in-place HMG anyway, rather than just a carried one. But it's noticeably bigger. But you can see how thin those struts actually are on the STL. They're tiny. So when this is printed out at 100 scale, you could sneeze when you're trying to cut it off and it'll break. So I would recommend, if you're using water washable, definitely printing it larger. Maybe if you're just using normal resin as well. But I've switched now completely to using the water washable because it does give a nice result. Even on that gun though, it's turned out quite well, and that's quite a brittle piece. No problems getting that off. But for whatever reason, I did print the original one at the normal scale, and it just snapped in all sorts of places. So I'm going to go put this team together. I've made them a nice little base to go on. Hopefully they fit on. I did kind of test measure them, but I did take up quite a bit of base when I got a bit carried away when I was waiting for this one to dry. So this is a bit more of a prepared emplacement for them. So I'll be back when I've done that. Let's give ourselves a little emplacement. They're a bit taller than I was expecting. That's why I built this little platform, because I thought they'd be too small, and then they ended up being taller. So I've actually put some like sandbags on there as well, just to give their emplacement a little bit more cover. Added a little skull on a stick. Why not? It went together okay. Obviously, when we resizing the gun, the hands don't quite fit on there well. I've had to do some modelling adjustments and filled it with some green stuff, but I'm pretty happy with that. It should work quite well. So the last thing for the army, which is one of the free things, is to make the witch. So I just need to find the sprue. So we have the Frostgrave sprue. This is the free one I got with the book, and 4 options. I think I kind of like this one. So I'm going to go for this body. And then I'm going to find some accoutrements on the sprue. A nice detail body for these Frostgrave models as well. It's a nice sprue actually. There's quite a lot of options on there. There's even this weird little thing, goblin statue at the top, which just reminds me of Spaceballs and yogurt. I think it's just the stance it's got. Maybe I should use that. May the Swartz be with you. Yeah, I'm going to find some stuff on this sprue. I'm going to look around some other sprues for some war related stuff. This guy's going to be a generic witch to go with the sort of generic captain. Like I said, I think in the future I'm probably going to go down maybe the Armanist in the book, which is kind of like your Illuminati type. I might use one of the other bodies for that, and then this guy can just be the apprentice for this other guy. But no, I like the German army in the book actually, and I like both the captains, so I might actually even end up doing a second German army. Maybe give them all the spiky helms instead. But we shall see. But let me build the last model for this 10-point crew, and then we will be back to look at it all. There we go, there is our witch with gas mask and ritual dagger from the cultist sprue. Some little bits from the cultist sprue on the back and a little thing on there from the German sprue. And then just a little book, which could be maybe the Necronomicon or something, I don't know. But this is going to be used for the rights of the Crone, I've decided. These guys are going to be supporting the Crone. So there we go. So that is our 10-point force, our starting force for Germany. All ready to be painted, which is the next big thing. I might have to do a few little more bits, and I might see if I can find some more little things to add on to them. But I think I'm done. I think I'm quite happy with how they've turned out, to be honest. Overall, the Wargames Atlantic kit is really good. There are a few things you're probably going to need to cut or pin or fill, to be honest. A lot of flash on the thing, so it's going to need scraping off with a knife or a mould scraper. I do like the mould scrapers even though people knock them. The STL files, some modification needed there. The trench dudes are really good, I like them. They make great stormtroopers because they've got the body armour on. The scout site model is fantastic, prints off just like that, no problems whatsoever. That's it, so cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully the next time you see these guys they'll be painted and probably in a battle, I hope. If you want to see me do a painting video for these, put it in the comments quick because I intend to get them painted hopefully relatively fast. So I'll need to know if people want to see them painted. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Bye for now.